안녕하십니까. 70년 전 6.25 전쟁으로 목숨을 걸고 달려와서 피와 눈물과 땀을 흘려주신 참전용사와 그 후손들에게 감사를 전하는 사단법인 한국전쟁 참전국 기념사업회 이종구 부회장입니다. 오늘은 우리 UNPK 서포터즈인 터키 참전용사 후손 데프네가 한국 외국어대학교에서 유학생활을 하고 있다는데 어떻게 하고 있는지 살짝 가보겠습니다.
네, 아이고 반가워요.
네, 여러분, 저는 그 한국외국어대학교에서 경영학과 2학년 데프네라고 합니다. 오늘 저의 하루 일과를 보여드릴 건데요. 제가 지금 그 온라인 수업을 봐야 되는데 같이 가볼까요? So what I like to do is come to a cafe because it's more comfortable and I can focus on study. So yeah, I come here like 4 times a week. My class that I'm doing right now, it's called Organizational Behavior. It's about the behavior of people in business. And I like it. It's kind of hard, but because the professor explained it really well, it's funny and I like to take that class.
Okay.
So it's been only 6 months that I started boxing. However, I try to come here every week twice, and it's for taking off my stress and also for diet. It's really good. So here is my boxing place, and I will show you now. I'll explain to you briefly what do we do in the boxing club. So first of all, I stretch. After my stretching, I do some jumping rope, and after the jumping rope, I start my boxing training. When my boxing training finish, I again do stretching and finish my training. So my favorite Korean food is tteokbokki. So there is a place that I always go to eat after class. Should I show you? Let's go. So here is a place that I come really often after classes. It's really cheap, affordable, and also they give a big amount of food. It's a tteokbokki place with tteokbokki, rabbukki, or ramen. And I really like this place because it's cheap and tasty. Okay, so this is a cheese ramen. And this is rabbukki. So basically rabbukki, it's like ramen and tteokbokki together. I like it here because as you can see they give a lot of food for a cheap price. And also it's not too spicy because I don't really like when the tteokbokki is too spicy. And the cheese ramen is really different from the instant ramen. They do it really well and it's really good. Okay, so basically it's been from a really long time that I love Korea, since I was 10. So when I was 10, I searched more about Korean on the internet, and I really liked the language and the culture. So basically I just decided from the internet that I wanted to come to Korea.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so that's a little bit funny because it's a little bit simple because Turkey and Korea are really similar.
Similar.
Yeah, there are not a lot of differences, but the thing I was really shocked in Korea is the trash can. In the street there is no trash can, so you cannot like throw your trash, and it was really inconvenient, and I was really shocked because it's the first country I visited that didn't have trash can. So, yeah.
그래서
Okay, so in Turkey I learned Korean language actually, so I went to a Korean institute with Korean teachers. So from them I knew about Korean restaurants, and there was like events for wearing hanbok and taking picture. So because of them, yeah, I could experience the Korean culture in Turkey. Actually, for business, I really choose it last minute before I come to Korea. I chose it because I wanted to use my languages to do business in other countries and maybe introduce Korean business to Turkey or France. So this is why I choose business. After university in Korea, I really want to stay here and maybe work here with international business. I really want to work with international business in Korea. My grandfather actually didn't tell me about the Korean War until I told him I wanted to study in Korea. So I didn't have an idea that he did the Korean War. Even my dad didn't know. But when I talked to him about Korea, that I wanted to study there, he started to tell me that he fight for Korea, and I was really shocked when he told me that because I had no idea. So at the time, yeah, I knew about it. From what he told me is that he was not called by the country to fight in Korea, but he wanted to fight for South Korea. Basically, he saw that Korean people needed help, so he just subscribed himself to go help Koreans. I know that he fought in front line, so he was a soldier in front line, and I also know that he was upper graded. He was a sergeant chief in the Korean War, and my grandfather never came back to Korea after the Korean War. The reason is because he was really shocked and sad and lost a lot of people in that war. So he didn't want to remember all those memories, and that's why he didn't come to Korea again. She told me that he got burned, all his body got burned in the Korean War because there was an oil place for cars to put oil, and they all went inside, but when they were inside, the North Korea sent a bomb and it exploded, so there was a lot of fire, but they had to go out. If they didn't go out, then they will all die inside. So what he did is he had to run through the fire to outside to save himself, but because of that, all his body got burned and a lot of his friends died there. This is something I didn't know about until now. It's my grandmother who talked about it. And what happened is that my grandfather and my grandmother father fight, two of them in the Korean War. And actually my grandfather was my grandfather's boss. So when they met, they really got along, they became friends. And so my grandfather introduced my grandfather to my grandmother, and it's how they got married.
Okay.
First of all, I really want to thank UNPK Association for helping us students from the Korean War descendants veterans. And I also want to thank them for the relationship that they make between the countries who fight for South Korea and Korea. Also, a lot of new generation do not know about what happened in South Korea and who helped them. So I think it's really important to remind them what happened and all the memories that we have from the Korean War. And also UNPK really help us to make a living in Korea, and they always help us when we have a problem here. So I'm really thankful for that.
오늘 이렇게 한국에서 다른 대학생들과 다름없이 열심히 공부하고 있는 터키 참전용사 후손 데프네의 일과를 알아봤는데요. 앞으로도 우리 다른 참전용사 후손들 생활도 좀 잘 찾아보겠습니다. 우리 사단법인 한국전쟁 참전국 기념사업회는 참전용사분들 마지막 순간까지 잘 배웅할 수 있도록 하고, 또 후손들과 네트워크도 잘 조성해서 6.25 전쟁으로 연결된 이 인연을 세계의 자유와 평화를 위해서 일할 수 있는 좋은 그 단체가 될 수 있도록 노력하겠습니다. 감사합니다.